So welcome to the first STEM College and Career Panel that I am hosting this school year. It's a new event that I decided to do starting last year as I was inspired in many ways, thinking about the needs of STEM teachers and trying to share some of the awesome work that sort of industry is doing, community colleges, institutes of higher education, all the work that our presenters today have done in terms of trying to get kids interested in STEM careers, trying to do some of the back end work. And I'm thrilled you all have joined us today, and I'm thrilled that our speakers have been able to join us today. First, let me very briefly thank our sponsors. This event and all of TEP's work in West Virginia is sponsored by Akamai Technologies, Amazon, Amgen Foundation, Arnold and Kay Clegg Charitable Foundation, BAE, the Benedum Foundation, First Energy, Gilead Sciences, Illumina, Jacobs Engineering, Janssen Pharmaceuticals, Lockheed Martin, Procter & Gamble, Psychmedics Corporation, Spark Therapeutics, TC Energy Foundation, and Toyota Manufacturing, West Virginia, Vulcan Materials, and WestRock. So just a little about the Center for Excellence in Education. We were founded in 1983 by Joanne DeGennaro and Admiral Rick Over, who is the father of the nuclear navy and civilian uses of nuclear power. Our mission is to nurture high school and university scholars to careers of excellence and leadership in STEM. And we offer 3 cost-free programs in the United States: the Research Science Institute, the USA Bio-Olympiad, and the Teacher Enrichment Program. Real quick, the Research Science Institute is a highly competitive 6-week summer science and engineering program open to rising high school seniors so that you apply your junior year of high school. It combines on-campus work in scientific theory with off-campus work in science and technology research. This past 2 years, we've done it virtually, and I think we're probably doing it virtually again this year. MIT, our partner and host, is really busy with getting their students back on campus and getting them back up to speed. So anyone who works at an institute of higher education, I'm sure, can very much relate to that challenge. So participants do really well in STEM competitions like Regeneron, and many go on to advanced STEM degrees. And as I've recently found out, becoming a lawyer is also a very popular option. Registration opens in mid-November with applications due in early January. And for any teachers who might be interested in it, you don't actually have to remember this date. Not that I actually really have one, but you don't have to remember it because I'll email you about it. We also have the USA Bio-Olympiad, or the USABO, which is the nation's largest biology education and testing program. It's a series of examinations testing knowledge of biology concepts. We invite the top 20 to attend national finals for 2 weeks, and then the top 4 from that go on to the International Bio-Olympiad. If anyone is interested in their resources, they actually have phenomenal resources for, in particular, AP and IB biology classes. And registration for schools and students is currently open. And if anyone is interested in learning more, I'm happy to connect you with, well, I guess the former director right now, since the current director is on vacation. And lastly, we have the Teacher Enrichment Program. And our big goal is to try to connect teachers and thereby their students with experts from industry and academia, and especially to explore some of the more exciting and up to cutting edge research and technology that's out there. I always feel like STEM sort of research and what we know about STEM is our knowledge is increasing exponentially, which makes it really hard to keep up. And certainly trying to connect teachers with resources and opportunities that help support their classroom and students. This year, we are doing a couple of virtual Bites of Science, which have longer presentations by STEM professionals doing these college and career panels. We are also doing a new event called I'm calling it the Square Root of STEM. And we are exploring some common knowledge topics and just looking at the various STEM fields that go into knowing about that topic. Our first one is actually next month. And we are talking with 2 folks from the TSA and another woman who runs UPenn's Working Dog Center. And we're exploring detection dogs, science behind it, how do we know they are good at sniffing things out, and kind of what's the animal husbandry behind that. We maintain a Lab Bench website with a bunch of resources for teachers. The video from this will be posted there. And then we also work to help connect teachers with former speakers, our sponsors, whenever they're looking for a classroom speaker, or they're interested in finding wanting to learn a little bit more content about something. And we do have a fabulous new website, which I'm so excited about. And this is what the lab bench looks like. And we've divided up presentations and sort of additional resources by broad topics and then smaller topics within that. I'm really excited today to welcome Hannah Waters, Admissions Counselor with BridgeValley Community and Technical College. They were fabulous hosts to us when we were back down in Charleston in 2019. Danielle Linsenbigler, Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admissions at West Virginia University, Morgantown. Srini Matam, who is now President, congratulations, by the way, of Toyota Motor Manufacturing, West Virginia. Laguna, who is the Department Leader at Procter & Gamble Tabler Station, and Juliana Serafin, who is the Senior Director, Division of Science and Research at the West Virginia Higher Education Policy Commission. So thrilled to have all of them here today with us. And with that, that's all I have. So, Hannah.
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Hannah Waters. I'm an admissions counselor on the South Charleston campus of BridgeValley CTC. So I'm just going to go over some general BridgeValley information and the benefits of attending a community and technical college. So just some general BridgeValley information to start out. This is my spiel that I give anyone who comes up to me and says, I don't know anything about BridgeValley. We have two campuses. Like I said, we have a main campus in South Charleston, and we also have another campus in Montgomery, West Virginia. We are accredited by the North Central Association of the Higher Learning Commission. And we also have program-specific accreditation in business, healthcare, and engineering. And what that means is essentially that students can transfer their credits to other institutions, whether that be they receive their gen ed credits from us and want to transfer somewhere else, or they want to get their full associate's degree and transfer it over to a 4-year program. We offer over 35 degree and certificate programs in high demand careers. And we have degrees that are offered in a large variety of areas. These areas include business and legal studies, general and transfer education, healthcare and human services, and technology and engineering. So what is a community college? I have this question from a lot of students. I didn't know what a community college was when I was graduating high school and moving into the area of applying for college. Community college is a school where you can earn your associate degree, which is a 2-year degree, or a certification, which can be anywhere from a few weeks all the way up to a year in the career path that you choose. It's a college that is local to you, and it allows you to live at home and commute. We don't have dorm rooms, so most of our students commute, or they rent in the area, or they are non-traditional students who have families and have already settled in the area. Community college is affordable, and that's something that I always like to emphasize with students, is that it's affordable. We like students to leave with an education and a career having the least amount of debt as possible. We are a college that offers training for high-paying jobs in less time. A lot of students don't love the idea of being in a program for 4 years or 6 years. That's just not the track that they want to go down. And so community college works with that. And we offer hands-on learning experiences. So that's a big part of it too. I have a lot of students that come to me and they say, I work really well with my hands. I don't love to sit in a classroom. I learn better working hands-on. And we have several programs that we can offer that type of learning with. So the cost of community college, this is one of my big points of interest. I think it's true for any college, but especially with community college. So I like to compare the cost of community college versus 4-year schools. So BridgeValley tuition and fees for the 2 years, or for 1 year, you're looking at about $5,360. Just to compare with like WVU tuition and fees, you're looking at about $8,000 plus room and board. So there's definitely a difference. And students that come to me and they want to save some money, I always recommend that they consider transferring over. It's definitely a good option. And I feel like students a lot of times aren't aware that that's something that they can do. They're afraid that their credits won't transfer over. And as I had said before, even with getting some of your basic classes out of the way, such as English 101, your basic math courses, psychology, if you want to save some money, say you want to go to WVU, come to us and get those basic classes and then transfer those credits over to WVU just to save some money. So we offer classes at $188 per credit hour. Just for tuition alone, where you're looking at an average of about $4,500 per year for tuition. Now, some programs do have special fees, selective admission programs or certain web courses, technology courses do require certain fees just to run those programs, but that's a general overview of tuition. So community college can be a stepping stone. And this is something that I always like to touch on as well, because I went to a 4-year school and I loved it, but I was not aware of the fact that you could use a 2-year school to then transfer over. So there is an ability to ease into the college experience with student organizations and activities on campus. Some students have a hard time jumping into the dorm life and the college experience immediately, and they want to ease into that a little bit more. And the community and technical college is good for that. It's a little bit slower pace. We do offer smaller classroom sizes. So the benefit of that is that you have one-on-one time with your teachers. Our average class size for program-specific classes are about 10 students. So that's great. Your instructor is going to know your name. They're going to get to know you throughout the semester. You're going to be able to access them very easily. Saving money, I'll touch on this the whole time because it's important. There's also the ability to work and be in school. Some students have families or they have situations where they have to work and they don't have a choice. So we offer on-the-job training with a lot of our programs, and we also offer as much flexibility as possible when we're advising for classes. And there's a diverse learning experience. Because you're in community and technical college, say that you go, from a 2-year, you start with us and transfer over to WVU, you're going to experience a wide variety of student types, and you're also going to experience a wide variety of faculty. And that, I think, is always incredibly helpful for your education and for your growth as a person. So I'm going to briefly go through the programs at BridgeValley because, like I said, we have over 35. But I'll just touch on some of these. That way everyone has an idea. As far as business and legal studies goes, it's anywhere from healthcare and medical coding to accounting and bookkeeping. We also have our diesel technology and our welding technology under our business section as well. Both of those are based in Montgomery. We also offer a entrepreneurship certification. If you are over the age of 21 and you are interested in brewing operations and making your own craft beer, we offer that as well, which is a fun one. Like I said, you have to be over 21, but that's just kind of a fun little thing. And then there's that general education. We have specific general education in business and elementary education, so you can choose what you want to focus on as far as classes go. A lot of students will choose these if they want to transfer into a program that we don't offer. So they'll start with us in one of these programs and then transfer over to state or to WVU or to Marshall. And then health studies is a very large part of BridgeValley, and a lot of these programs are selective admission programs. Anything with the asterisk here, you're going to see a selective admission. We have 2 sonography programs now. We offer emergency medical services, medical assisting, 2-year RN program, and we also have a couple of programs that work collaboratively with Carver Career Center, which are respiratory therapy and vet tech. And the way that those work is that students take those general classes with us, such as the math and the English and the psychology, and then they take the program-specific classes at Carver in hands-on training in the classroom. So this is a list of the selective admission programs. Every program is a little bit different. If anyone should ever have any questions about those specific applications, I would be happy to go over it with you, but they're similar, but everyone is different, and that's true for the Toyota Advanced Manufacturing Technology program as well. I believe that is our only technology program that has selective admission, and then the rest do not have a separate application. And then just to go over the technology and engineering part, we have advanced manufacturing. So that's with our Learn and Earn program, and a lot of students will work with Toyota in an internship for Toyota if they apply for it. And then once they receive that, they will learn and earn and work for Toyota. We also offer several computer maintenance and networking programs. Those are very popular. Those are in high demand careers right now. 3 different engineering, civil, electrical, mechanical. And then we also do some process technology and instrumentation. All of these are located at our ATC building in South Charleston. Another part of the community and technical college aspect that I think is really important student services. This is incredibly important because most students, when you go into college, whether that be you go into a 4-year or a 2-year, just aren't aware of what services are available to them. So I always like to go over this briefly. BridgeValley offers freshman advising center for new students. So when you come into BridgeValley, you're first put with a freshman advisor that works with you. And then once you continue on in your program, you have program specific advisors. We now offer online orientation. It is a class that you just have to complete, so you're not required to be in a certain place at a certain time. We offer career aptitude and preparation services. We even offer certain tests. So if students aren't quite sure what they want to go into, or they want some specific information about a career path, we can offer that for them. We work with several internships, learn and earn programs. On-site clinical training is incredibly important for a lot of our programs. And we offer accessibility services. And this is an array of services for students of varying needs. Maybe you just need some help with some note taking during class, or any type of special help that we can provide. We definitely work to do that. And then we have our Student Success Center, and this is a big center that I tell students about whenever they visit and I do tours. The Student Success Center does free placement testing. So say that you don't have an SAT or an ACT score and you want to take classes with us. We can provide an AccuPlacer placement test for free, and we just use that for advising. So that's super helpful. A lot of students are afraid that they'll have to take the ACT or the SAT, and we don't require that for general admission. We offer free tutoring services. Students never know this, and this drives me crazy, but we can set you up to meet with a tutor as frequently as you would like. If it's, a lot of people might not be super strong in math or anatomy and physiology, and they want to work on that, we can definitely get that for free scheduled with you. That way you can just drop into the Student Success Center when it's convenient to you and make sure that you work with a tutor to get where you want to be. TABE testing, if you want to test out of a class, if you feel like you already have that subject covered. And then just walk-in assistance. If you're having a hard time in a certain subject, you may be able to just walk in and receive assistance. You can do printing, scanning, use it as a study center. So it's definitely good to know about. Just to go over the documents that are required for admission. You are coming right out of high school, it's not anything that's super complicated. So you'll want to do your application for admission, and this is available on our website all the time. You can just go to bridgevalley.edu, and we have paper applications, but it's free all the time to apply online as well. We will need a final high school transcript that includes a graduation date. So if your high school transcript has your SAT, your ACT scores, feel free to send that in prior to graduation, but we will need one with a graduation date once you have completed schooling, and it's after May. We'll definitely need that, and that's used for your financial aid as well. We also will need transcripts from all prior colleges. So if you're a student that has taken classes at Marshall or State or WVU Tech, somewhere to earn some credits while you're in high school, we will need a transcript from that to be able to fully admit you. And as I mentioned before, test scores are not required for general admission, but they are used for advising. So we can definitely use them for that. And then they're required in selective admission programs. So I believe that the sonography and the nursing and dental hygiene programs do look at ACT scores as a part of your application. So just to go over the FAFSA briefly. So for the fall 22 term, if you're looking at graduating, you're going to be filling out the 22-23 aid year. This is required for the West Virginia Invest Grant. And a lot of people ask about this grant. It was just released by the state a couple of years ago. In order to apply for the Invest Grant and be considered for it, you have to fill out your FAFSA first. That's the first step. We also offer separate scholarships. So you can find those scholarships at this link provided, bridgevalley.awardspring.com. And the deadlines for FAFSA are, for fall awards, you're looking at June 30th. So you want to make sure that you fill out, if you're planning on attending in the fall, you fill out that FAFSA by June 30th, and you fill out the FAFSA by November 30th for the spring semester. Like I said before, we need those final transcripts to process your financial aid. The financial aid office waits for them, and until we have you fully admitted, they're not able to see what you're eligible for. I did not know that when I was a student, and so I try to make sure that students are aware of that, that's usually what holds up your FAFSA application and your financial aid is getting those transcripts into us. So to view the West Virginia Invest Grant, you can actually just go to collegeforwestvirginia.com, or if you type in westvirginiainvest.org, it will reroute you to that as well. They just recently changed the link to that. So I'm going to go through some reminders, and then I will show you all the West Virginia Invest Grant application page if we have time. For admission to BridgeValley, unless you're applying to a selective admission program, which is a little bit different, make sure to request those transcripts from your high school counselor or anyone else at your high school that can send them over to us. And also from prior colleges, you'll want to make sure that's sent. And then also financial aid. Stay in touch with financial aid, check your student email, apply for the West Virginia Invest Grant. So I'm actually going to go over this BridgeValley page really quickly. If you visit our website at bridgevalley.edu and scroll down, if you would like to tour our campuses from your home and see them virtually, take a look at what they look like, look at the ATC, you can click right here, tour our campuses from your home, and it will pull that up for you and you can take a look around. I'm always happy to schedule tours as well if you'd like to come in and visit, but that's a nice option if you can't get to campus, but you want to see what the campus looks like. So if you go to the West Virginia Invest Grant, you'll go to programs. This will drop down. You can click how it works. And then it will have a selection of questions for you, which this is really nice. So it goes through these questions that most people have. What colleges are participating? You can click find a college. And we are the second one that comes up. So you can find a program if you're interested in specific programs. These are all of the programs that qualify for the West Virginia Invest Grant. As far as I know, unless they've changed it recently, every program qualifies except for general education. So it's definitely worth applying for, even if you end up qualifying for other grants or scholarships and you don't need it. I encourage every student to apply. Once you fill out your FAFSA, make sure that you go up to this Apply Now button. It's a very simple application. There are some requirements for it. You'll want to go to the How It Works tab and go through all of these. How do I qualify? And there will be a list of that. Make sure that it works for you and it's something that you want to do. But like I said, the application is easy.
And if we were in person, we'd all clap for you. Hooray! Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Danielle Linsenbigler, and I just butchered your last name, and I am so sorry.
That's okay. It's a long one. It's a difficult one. And so appreciate being able to be with you all today and you allowing me to present a little bit about the STEM programs at West Virginia University. I do always like to point out, and I know that the contact information will be sent out, but we do have myself and two other regional recruiters who work within the state of West Virginia. We divide the state up by county. So it's very easy to find the counselor who works with students specifically from your area. And we are all more than willing to help with anything that you may need. So today we are going to focus on the STEM field specifically, but we do overall have 14 different schools and colleges at the Morgantown campus. And so can offer a wide variety of programs, everything from those STEM fields to the fine arts and in between. If you would like to know about any major that we discussed today or any program that we offer that maybe we didn't touch upon, the website there is a fantastic resource for you and any students that you may be working with. And it actually will show sample four-year schedules as to what classes the students will be taking throughout their time at WVU. So when we look at STEM, definitely have a lot of students who are interested in going into medical school. So if they're on a medical school pathway, we have a lot of opportunities for them to pursue. Biochemistry becoming one of the leaders nationwide in students' bachelor's degrees for medical school, but also some kind of unique programs, medical laboratory diagnostics, environmental microbiology. We have exercise physiology, immunology and medical microbiology, even a program in music and health. And so if students really have a passion for music but want to go on to medical school, we have a program that combines the two. Resources are endless, depending, or I should say, regardless of the major that they choose. We have a pre-health professional development office that will help students in any of those majors and any others who are interested in applying to medical school. And then our undergraduate research office can definitely help students. That's something that's very prevalent in not only those programs, but all of the STEM programs that we will talk about today. And what's really a cool fact about WVU is we actually are an R1 research institution with the Carnegie Foundation. That is the highest research classification that any college or university can have. And we are one of only about 130 schools in the entire nation that carry that research classification. So the next pathway, just healthcare in general. If a student is interested in healthcare, that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to go on to medical school. We do have quite a few options for them, everything from coaching and performance science, dental hygiene. We have art and music therapy on our campus, nursing, public health, physical education and kinesiology. You can see all of those there. So many, many different programs within the healthcare pathway. We do have a full health sciences center, so graduate programs in medicine, medical school, as I mentioned, pharmacy, PT, OT, there's dental school, mental health and counseling. So a lot of different programs that students can pursue if they are interested in healthcare. Engineering is probably one of our largest STEM programs that are offered. Very, very popular program at WVU. You can see the different disciplines that we offer. So those disciplines are offered as standalone programs, many from bachelor's all the way up through doctoral levels. And we also have a select number of dual degree programs as well. So that would allow a student to graduate with both bachelor's degrees. So we do have the civil and mining dual degree, computer science and electrical engineering, mechanical and aerospace, and those are just a few of those as well. It is a common curriculum the first year. So what's really nice is that students don't have to know what field of engineering that they want. A lot do come in with an idea, but some will change. So they're all going to take the same classes the first year, take intro to engineering courses, find out a little bit more about what is offered, and then usually feel more confident in making the decision about the degree that they want to pursue. Some of our STEM programs that we do offer, and I think that's something, a lot of times students will say, I'm interested in engineering because I'm good at science and math. And obviously being good at science and math is really important to be an engineer, but there are a lot of other options that students can pursue at WVU if they have that skill set and if those are classes that they enjoy. Animal and nutritional sciences is one. We have a data science program. We offer one of the best forensic science programs in the entire nation with the largest crime scene training complex of any college or university on our campus. And we also offer human nutrition and foods, management information systems, and then mathematics. And so within math, students really find kind of their niche within an area of emphasis. So one that I get asked a lot about is actuarial science. So students would come in and actually major in math and do their area of emphasis in actuarial science. And you can see there are a lot of other areas of emphasis as well. Our ag programs, our agriculture and natural sciences programs, very strong as well. We were actually many, many years ago founded as an agricultural college. So that has remained a staple throughout our time and throughout our history. And again, it's an area that students don't automatically gravitate towards or realize is an option when they do have that interest in STEM. And you can see that there are quite a few different programs and very, very kind of front of mind right now in career fields and sustainability, very important and good job outlooks for those. So if students are interested in applying to WVU, we offer rolling admission. So the earlier they apply, the earlier they will get a decision back from us. Official processing time is 4 to 6 weeks from the time that the application file is complete, but we're actually getting decisions out much quicker than that right now. As we move through the fall and start to receive a higher volume of applications, that probably will creep up more to that 4 to 6 weeks. We do not require essays or letters of recommendation, so they are not necessary to be sent with the application. Students can apply directly through our app, or we are part of the Common App as well. For a completed application file, they fill out the online application, they either have the high school send us their transcript or self-report their courses and grades directly on the application itself. If a student decides to apply test optional, they are not required to submit SAT or ACT scores. If they do not declare test optional, those test scores would be required. So I did mention, you can see here, they do have to indicate test optional on the application itself. There are select programs that will require an additional assessment, such as our placement exam, or with nursing, our the TEAS test in place of that, to review the student's overall GPA and the courses that they've taken if they are applying test optional. And then we do offer academic scholarships. These scholarships are in addition to if they are eligible for the Promise Scholarship. And it was stressed, and I want to just reiterate the importance of filing the FAFSA. That determines state and federal grants, as well as federal student loans, work study, and a university grant that we offer as well. So there are 2 sets of scholarships that students are reviewed for automatically. Again, no application needed for these. For the Go First Scholarship, that is for students who apply test optional. We'll base it just solely on their GPA, and you can see the range needed for an academic scholarship. For our Scholarship of Distinction levels, that's for students who apply with test scores. We will look and essentially on the chart where their GPA and their test score meet. If they fall into any one of those 5 colored areas of the grid, they are going to receive a scholarship from us. Now, because we use a no harm policy with test scores, it never hurts a student to submit the scores. Let's say they originally are reviewed for the Scholarship of Distinction, but we find that they would actually receive a higher scholarship if we just use their GPA. We would cancel the we would cancel the Scholarship of Distinction and apply the Go First. So it is either or. Students cannot receive both, but they will receive the highest one that they qualify for. Students falling into a specific academic range, and that is a 3.8 GPA with a 31 ACT or a 1390 SAT, do have the opportunity to apply for what is called our Bucklew Scholarship, and that is valued at $10,000 per year. We award approximately 20 each academic term, and out of those 20 students, 5 are selected to receive the Foundation Scholarship, which covers complete cost of attendance plus a stipend, a one-time stipend for their 4 year. And I know we're going to do questions at the end, but again, thank you guys so much for your time, and please don't hesitate to reach out should you have any questions moving forward.
Wonderful. And I love that you guys, you don't declare engineering majors in the first year. That's awesome. So next up, we have, I got to double check. Srini Matam, it's all you.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining today. So my name is Srini Matam, president of Toyota Motor Manufacturing, West Virginia. So a little bit about my background. First of all, thank you, Kim, and the whole team for inviting me to this presentation. My name is Srini Matam, originally from India. I've been living here for 30 years. My education, I have a bachelor's in mechanical engineering and master's in production engineering. I've been an engineer for a while, and then I switched fields to go to information systems in 1990, then came back to manufacturing. Now I'm the president since 2019. You can see my hobbies there. I read a lot of books and watch cricket, other stuff. So we're located here in a small town, Buffalo, north of I-64. Here are all the products we make here in the plant. So on the left, you can see the engines. On the right is the transmissions. We make 3 different types of engines, and they go into Corollas, Lexus RX, Highlander, RAV4s. Probably you're familiar with some of those vehicles. And then our transmissions, we have 2 different plants here. So they go into Camrys, RAV4s, Highlanders, Lexus ES, Avalon, and Sienna. So pretty much every different vehicle that we make in North America. So first, I'd like to give a explanation of what our goals are for the environmental challenge of 2050. We have 6 challenges. The first one is we want to be new vehicle zero CO2 emissions for new vehicles. And the second one is once the vehicle is in the field, for the life cycle of the vehicle, we want to have a zero CO2 emissions. Also within the plant that's making the vehicles, we want to be CO2 neutral. And then challenge 4 is protect our water resources. Challenge 5 is overall ensure all Toyota facilities and processes support a recycling based society. And challenge 6 is everything what we operate and make, we want to live in harmony with the nature. That's our goal. With that said, I'm going to touch on 2 challenges and then lead into the STEM discussion. First challenge is vehicle CO2 emissions. Obviously, there's a lot of discussion about electric vehicles. If you look at it today, on the left side, we make a lot of engines which use gasoline. It's called internal combustion engine. We're into hybrid vehicles already, if you look at 2020 timeline, and we're stepping towards 2050. That's how we want to get zero CO2 emissions. The second challenge I want to share with you is the plant side, zero CO2 emissions. We invested $4.9 million, the largest solar array. You can see on the picture on the right that generates 2.6 megawatts of total electricity that we use within the plant. It doesn't support all of it, but it supports 25% of our electricity that we use. So now back to all of that effort that we're putting in. It has a big connection to the STEM careers and how we use these technologies and how our maintenance and engineering folks support these systems. First of all, from a STEM career standpoint, we have the accounting and finance related to manufacturing, information systems, skilled maintenance, and then you have several engineering disciplines. You can see I'm not going to read all of it because of the time. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch on the skilled maintenance, leading to what Hannah talked about earlier, the advanced manufacturing technician. Hannah, by the way, I was one of the board chairs of BridgeValley until summer this year, and then I retired, and then I have a new member supporting BridgeValley, a great institution, and we partner with BridgeValley to promote the advanced manufacturing technician. Let me explain a little bit more detail. So mainly this leads to a skilled maintenance that work on the machines to repair them, maintain them, and make sure that we're producing our engines and transmissions. That's the main skill set. And if you look at it from the bottom left, that's our K through 5. At that point, I think what may need to happen is basically you want to expose your students to manufacturing by encouraging them to be in STEM. And that's our gateway to technology. And then as they get into middle school, then you're thinking about the critical thinking, the communication skills, more exposure to the manufacturing. Definitely recommend enrollment in Project Lead the Way. And then as they grow again in high school, that's when they start getting introduced to the advanced manufacturing technician, and Toyota and the FAME, the manufacturing institution basically, and apply for the AMT program. And there are some requirements. I think BridgeValley is the one that administers all of the AMT programs. So Hannah already explained about the AMT a little bit. And then you go into the assistant degrees here through BridgeValley, especially for the skilled maintenance. It's called Advanced Manufacturing Technician. And I'm going to go more into how that program works in a little bit. And then you do the internship. It's a paid internship, and become a potential team member here in the plant. Um, and then if you look at it, how does the AMT program work, which is the Advanced Manufacturing Technician? Students basically work 2 full days of classwork at BridgeValley, and then they work here on the plant 3 full 8-hour days, and then the instructional program continues through the summer. There is no summer break. And then the weekly schedule, this is how it's going to look. For example, on Monday and Wednesday, on Wednesday and Friday, they come to Toyota to be on the production lines to support our maintenance folks. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they go to school. And here is the general idea about the degree program. You have the general education with the math, writing, science, social science, and public speaking. It's a 5-semester course. And then you get into the manufacturing floor experience with the production and maintenance and so on and so forth. And we also teach the safety culture, the workplace organization, lean manufacturing, problem solving, very important, and then maintenance reliability. So the program's results are the conclusion of the 5-semester program. So the students are going to get an associate degree in applied science, and they'll have 65 college credit hours and 14 months of real world experience because they've been working 3 times a week in the plant. And many other experiences highly sought after by employers. For example, problem solving is one of the key things, critical thinking, and safety. And so far, we're having 100% job placement of the 2-year graduates that graduate out of AMT. And also AMT pass rate on the Toyota's tough technical test is 100%. And also on the 100% completion of the lean manufacturing core program, and then professional behaviors as well. So a lot of good programs. So what I'm going to introduce to you now is within our plant, what type of technologies do we use that either an AMT program or a general STEM education through engineering, the possibilities of what jobs could be available in the plant. For example, we have robots doing work in the plant. And the one on the left is a heavy load robot that lifts a lot of weight. That way the humans don't have to do it, but there's a lot of need for programming these robots. On the right, you see a collaborative robot, which is a human-friendly robot, 2 different types of it. For this, you see math is very important, and mechanical, electrical, computer science, and skill maintenance knowledge is very important. And I'm going to demonstrate one of the small robots here. This is a video I'm going to play. What this is doing is it's wiping a pot to be clean. That way humans don't have to touch the pot and get cuts on their fingers or anything. And this helps to glue this aluminum part to another part of the assembly. And that's how this robot works. And there's a lot of need for programming these robots, and these are taught during the AMT associate degree program. And here is another example of programming a automated guiding vehicle. Basically, it picks up a finished product, and once it's loaded, it automatically takes it to the next line. So there's no human involved. So again, from a STEM education, it's very important for the manufacturing side to continue to support the technologies that help manufacturing products. This is one of the examples. I don't mean to say you need to know what this is. It's a drawing, and it's an engineering drawing of the part I just showed you where the robot was wiping. And there are a lot of intricate details if you can see it. And if you know the math, and you can learn the drawing through engineering programs, especially mechanical engineering programs. Students will be very interested to get involved in all of the details of this. So the other thing I wanted to explain to you, the tolerances, some of the machining tolerances we use on the parts, how much of machining works goes into these aluminum parts. I want to explain the tolerances we use. For example, we use at a micron level. Sometimes it's not millimeters or centimeters. A micron is a 1,000th of a millimeter. You're taking material off of these aluminum pieces during machining, 1,000th of a millimeter. What does that equate to? For example, if you see a dark circle, that is the size of a human hair. And then the red dot in the middle is a red blood cell. That's 8 microns. But the black dot within the red dot is 2 microns. So that is the level of machining and cutting of materials we do to make a high quality product. And this requires, and that's what it's showing here in animation, this requires a lot of CNC programming skills, which comes through, again, the STEM education. And you can see on the right-hand side, that is the CNC programming we use here. And then you see a tool and a piece that it's cutting holes into. And you can see another image of it. The programming is on the left side of it, that you run that program wherein the cutting tool goes in and cuts the holes within the transaxle case, which is aluminum case, basically. And you can see another image of this. So the STEM skills needed here for CNC is, again, math, because you will learn the programming skills, the logic, the problem solving, and so on and so forth. And it deals with mechanical and skilled maintenance. And then 3D printing is also big here at Toyota and generally everywhere. You can see there are different parts that we hold in these nylon holders. These nylon holders are made with 3D printing. And again, there's a lot of programming that you can learn, the drawing you can make to the tolerances. And that way we can print inside. And this is getting really big. The 3D printing is going big in the industry. And finally, how can we support at Toyota, right? We can do a plant tours to teachers and students, and you can reach out to us. And also STEM day for students, and we can shadow with engineers, maintenance, quality engineering, and others. And we can share the job responsibilities of engineers to get that STEM education introduction. That way the students can pick and choose how they want to grow in their own careers, right? And show automation, we can show the robots that I showed in the video, the AGVs, and show our training areas, the fundamentals of engine manufacturing, transmission, and general problem solving. Of course, we can show the CAD, the computer-aided design development, and 3D printing. And that's what goes on here. We're excited to share anything with all the teachers and students. Let us know if you need any help. That's all from me, Kim. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much again. And I mean, you brought the robot to our last event that we had you at in West Virginia, and honestly, like, those diagrams are incredible. So I really enjoyed that part. Thank you so much for presenting. And then next up, we have Val Laguna with the department leader at Procter & Gamble Tabler Station.
Can you guys hear me, and can you see my screen?
Yes, to you both.
Awesome. All right, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you guys so much for having me. My name is Valeria Laguna, Val for short, and I'm here representing Procter & Gamble at the Tabler Station plant in Inwood or Martinsburg, West Virginia. And I'm really excited to talk to you guys about what we have to offer from a STEM standpoint here at P&G. So first and foremost, tell you a little bit about myself. I am originally from Venezuela. I moved to the US when I was 10, grew up in Florida, graduated from the University of Illinois, where I got my mechanical engineering degree, interned for P&G 3 times while I was in school, and then started with P&G full-time about 7 years ago. And in that time, I started as a process engineer and then became a line leader out in Kansas City making dish soap. Then I got the pleasure of moving out here to start up the Taylor Station plant almost 4 years ago now. And I got to start up our dryer sheet business, our Swiffer business, our dish soap making business, and our surfactants business. And I am now in operations as the dish making senior manager. And when it comes to P&G, we are a company of leading brands. You can see a lot of our wonderful brands here on the screen, but not just our brands. We also have, sorry guys, a lot of ways that we touch our consumers worldwide, right? So over 5 billion consumers use our brand. We have over 145 nationalities in our workforce, and we're really excited if some of our diversity and inclusion numbers. I'm really excited to be part of that here at P&G. And we are a 180-year-old company, and how do we stay relevant? And there's really 3 facets to that: people growth, innovation, and our values. So the first part is people growth, and this is the really important part when we're also talking about, you know, having awesome college students come work for us. We really focus on what folks can do from day one at our company. Having interned at the company 3 times, now having multiple interns that have report to me, we really focus on giving folks really valuable work from day one. It's always really exciting for me every summer before our interns come. We actually sit in a room and think about what work we really need to accomplish. And that's the work that we try and give our interns. And because it's work that we're vested in and interested in, it means that they get all of the support that they get. And they're working really closely with their coworkers and have that collaborative environment built in from day one. And really the difference between, you know, who you are and who you want to be is what you do. And we really focus again on giving people really challenging work. One of the things that I'm really proud of at P&G is that we are promote from within company, which means the majority of our population, I think it's over 85% at this time, got hired right out of college into our company. So that really is our biggest source of talent. And whenever we're hiring people right out of college, we think these are going to be the future leaders of our company. So it's really important to us from a talent supply standpoint, and therefore we're going to invest in you from day one, because again, you are the future leaders of our company. And, you know, it leads to professional growth from day one. From a value standpoint, one of my favorite things about working for P&G is our values. It's really nice to work for a company where I always feel like we're really striving to do the right thing. We've been following these values for 182 years. And you really see it a lot in our community involvement, our environmental goals. You know, I'm still at work, so I'm wearing a mask. I was really proud of our COVID response. We took care of every single employee. You know, we're providing masks every single day for our employees, making sure everybody's safe and making sure we're enabling really safe work. And then for the last part, what also keeps us alive is, from an innovation standpoint, are things like transformation, brand building, digitization, and data analytics and supply chain. And the reason I'm highlighting these things is because this is where Taylor Station and our manufacturing plant plays a really, really big role. And most important of all is that supply chain piece. P&G is considered a supply chain master. It's an elite category reserved for P&G, Apple, Amazon, and McDonald's, of being, you know, one of the best supply chains in the world. And what's really, you know, the best way to deal with disruption is to lead it constructively, is what our CEO will tell you. And what we did to lead it constructively is we built Taylor Station. So when we talk about P&G's supply chain transformation, that is why we built Taylor Station in the northeastern panhandle of West Virginia. There you see some beautiful pictures of the entrance of our plant. And then you can see up here on the top right, quite a bit of space. We have 4 businesses out here shipping finished product, including our surfactants business as well, which makes the chemicals that go into our dish soap and beauty business. So going back to that big slide of all the P&G brands, Taylor Station is representing 4 of them. We are making balanced dryer sheets. There's also some other brands of dryer sheets like Gain and Lenore that we also make. Dawn dish soap along with Joy and Ivory dish soap. Pantene shampoos, and we make shampoo, we make conditioners, and we make body washes. And then we also make Swiffer, and we'll make Swiffer dry, Swiffer wet jet, as well as Swiffer dusters. So it's really exciting to be in one building making all of these products. And what that means is we have a lot of technology that we have under one roof to deliver this. So obviously we have substrate handling technology for the dryer sheets, for the Swiffer, we have liquid handling technology for all of our dish soap and all of our, shampoos, conditioners, and body wash. And it's really exciting, again, to have everything under one roof. And if we make all this stuff, we need engineers to make all that stuff. So from a STEM standpoint, there's 2 main areas that we hire. The primary one is definitely engineering. I'm really proud to say that our plant is actually run by engineers. Our plant manager is a former engineer. Well, he's still an engineer. He never lost his degree. But we hire engineers into multiple areas of the plant. Process engineering, trying to make our process run a little bit better every day. Materials engineers working closely with our raw material suppliers to understand the specifications and constraints of our materials, as well as managing material changes, which usually lead to a lot of cost saving. Controls engineers, we certainly also have a lot of robots here at Procter & Gamble. We have them, managing our finished product pallets, our raw material, bottles that come in. We also have robots doing, things like our bottle handling, our palletizing. We also hire engineers to be technical equipment owners, so they become the experts on their specific piece of equipment, and they help every single day to drive losses for that equipment, as well as standardization, so that it can be applied not just at our site, but globally, because some of our equipment is, we apply globally. We also hire engineers into our supply chain area. So a lot of logistics to run a plant of this size. It's one of the biggest in the P&G network. And we need people to help us figure out how to do this as efficiently as possible. And then we do also have, besides engineers, one area that we also hire science majors, and that's in our lab technician. So we have an analytical lab processing thousands of samples as part of our quality assurance process. And we use scientists in that area to lead a lot of that work. So engineering is certainly a really important part, and the product supply sector of P&G, which is where manufacturing is built, is made of engineers, which is really cool. When you talk about what you need to be successful at P&G, we think about really 3 key skills: leadership, critical thinking, and collaboration. So again, we are a promote from within company, so we take a lot of pride in really building your capability and investing in you. We don't expect you to come in on day one and be able to take apart a pump and tell me why it failed, but we will certainly teach you how to do that, how to troubleshoot, and how to apply all of the amazing skills that you learned in school into your job every single day. Again, given that we are promote from within, we really value collaboration. We want folks to work together. We have one common goal. And then from a leadership standpoint, we actually hire engineers to be managers and to really help lead our technicians on a day-to-day basis and build their capability, whether it's in troubleshooting, or equipment maintenance or things like that. So these are kind of the key things that we look for. I had a little bit of fun making a slide, right? I wanted to give you a little bit of a view while trying to, meet our CDA requirements or confidentiality requirements of what my day looks like day to day. So like I said, I've been working at P&G for 7 years. And here at Taylor Station, we're only 3 years old. So I was here when we got to ship the very first production shipment here. And it's really cool, again, to be part of a plant that is moving so quickly and has so much to offer. And, if tomorrow I get sick of making dish soap, I can try and maybe go make some dryer sheets or go make Swiffer. So there's always a lot of opportunity, and especially at Taylor Station, We certainly are looking for new engineers to come work with us every single day. So in general, whether you come with us from an internship standpoint or you come with us as a full-time hire, we really focus on that challenging and meaningful work from day one. Really a world-class learning and leadership development. You have access to global leadership, especially at a plant like this. You know, we constantly, we're revolutionizing the supply chain. So we constantly get to hear about the impact that we're having on the global supply chain. And then we really do care about our values, our PVPs. I'm really proud to be part of some of our diversity and inclusion teams. We try and really support flex at work and then focus on that sustainability and social responsibility. And that's a very quick summary, but I'm happy to answer any questions. In general, what you guys, from an outreach standpoint, we do have a classroom outreach team here at the plant ready to go at any time. So if any of teachers from elementary all the way to high school level ever wants more technical engineering presentation or introduction, or even just product demos, maybe more at the elementary level, so the high school kids still really enjoy that. We have a team of school outreach that's here ready to go. And then as you know, our safety protocols change, we do look forward to in the future offering tours of our plant. And that's really what I have for P&G. And again, happy to answer any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Val. And I do also want to note that for any teachers who are in the, actually in your area, Blue Ridge Technical and Community College offers a specific P&G certificate program that if you pass all your classes, I don't actually remember what the requirements are off the top of my head, but you basically, if you pass all the requirements, you're basically guaranteed a job at P&G. So, which I think is a fabulous deal for probably a lot of students. Okay, and then last but not least, we have Juliana Serafin, who's going to just really wrap up kind of and just talk about what some of the research that she's doing and kind of give us, well, I assume, so I actually haven't, you know, but just giving us a kind of an overview of what's, you know, workforce development in West Virginia.
Hey, can you guys see my screen?
We can.
Okay, there we go. So I am Juliana Serafin from the Science, Technology, and Research Division called STAR at the Higher Education Policy Commission. And our office basically deals with grant funding from the National Science Foundation and also from the state of West Virginia. But being within the Higher Education Policy Commission, today I'm really going to talk more about higher education in West Virginia and the opportunities in STEM that are there for that. So as was mentioned earlier by Hannah, West Virginia Invests is a grant program where basically West Virginia residents can get tuition and some of the fees that are associated with going to community colleges or also Potomac State from WVU paid for. So you can go to community college for a very small amount of money. And the programs there, which you saw the website for that earlier in the seminar, there are a lot of STEM options there. So that's the West Virginia Invests program. We also have a program that's called the Engineering, Science, and Technology Scholarship, where students can get up to $3,000 a year for up to 4 years. So $3,000 for each year, so total $12,000. To actually go obtain an associate certificate or a bachelor's degree at 25 institutions across the state. So that pretty much includes almost all the community colleges and the 4-year colleges and universities also. For both of these, there is a requirement that you have to stay in the state of West Virginia after that. For the Engineering, Science, and Technology Scholarship, it's a year for each year. that you got the grant. Or if you want to leave the state after that, then you just pay back the money as a loan. So there are a lot of options for that. And it's at that same College for West Virginia website, which the link is at the top of the slide, that both these programs are described in detail, and you can get all the information that you want about them. Lots of STEM options. We also have in West Virginia something called ACE, and these are advanced career education pathways that are really agreements that exist between high schools or career and technical centers and community colleges or universities, where students in high school can get credit that'll be applied to community college, in particular career paths. And I've picked a few of these STEM options for that. There's one in pre-engineering at Parkersburg. There are advanced manufacturing ones. And you also just heard about P&G and Toyota's programs for those, but there are some others, and there's machine tooling. Also, Northern is working on a pre-engineering program. That's Northern Community College. And BridgeValley has a special grant from Appalachian Electric Power that is for STEM education. So they actually, if you go to Nitro or Riverside High School, you can take classes for which you will get credit for those. I also wanted to mention programs that we know about in HEPC that are specifically geared for STEM students to help make sure that they're successful in getting their degrees, no matter whether those are baccalaureate, associate, or certificate degrees in either the CTC system or the college university 4-year system. One of them is called the First Two Network, and I've provided links here for most of these. First Two Network has an emphasis on keeping first-generation college students and underrepresented minority students in college during their first 2 years as a STEM major. They're funded by the National Science Foundation. And if you want more information about that, you can go to the website. West Virginia also has what's called HISTA, or the Health Sciences and Technology Academy, which is in some certain counties in West Virginia, where middle and high school students start STEM activities and go to a special summer program while they're in high school, and can actually have their tuition waived for either college, or sometimes if they don't take that option, they can carry it over to graduate school. And the HISTA is very successful in helping students be retained in their majors and complete their degree. There's a program called Code West Virginia, for which teachers can actually create computer science classes at their schools through this curriculum that is available. And you can find more information there. So that's a way for a high school in West Virginia or a middle school in West Virginia to actually start computer science classes that will be beneficial to their students. There's also a program called New Force, which is a partnership with Generation West Virginia to help train computer programmers in the state, and then help them find internships that'll lead to employment. Project Lead the Way was already mentioned, and there's a link to that. I know that they have those programs at WVU and Marshall, but I think there are probably others out there. Another one is what's called LSAMP, which is an abbreviation for Lewis Stokes Alliances for Minority Participation. That's available at WVU Marshall and West Virginia State. And basically that's a special program for minority students who are in STEM programs. West Virginia works with Kentucky on that. So it's an alliance of West Virginia and Kentucky. And there's a link to get more information about that. And then finally, I put a link to our own website because we have some videos available that are only 3 minutes long that you can watch and learn about an individual scientist. So you can find out what their day is like, what they're working on, what their projects are, what their education is. So those are called Scientist Spotlight videos, and those might be helpful to students also. And that was really all I have, unless there are any questions.
If I could get my computer to work here. Yeah, so we can do, yeah, but let's do some questions. So if there are teachers and you have any questions, please just toss them in the chat. You can chat them directly to me and I will ask them of our presenters. And I guess one of the first questions we have is, well, I guess sort of overall, for all of you who are doing some of this STEM, workforce development, higher education stuff, I guess what would be, what do you think the biggest, I guess, sort of misunderstanding about sort of STEM industry or STEM jobs in West Virginia is? Anyone can go for it.
Oh, well, I'll go for it. I think a lot of students somehow get the idea that there aren't any STEM jobs in West Virginia. And some of that may come from an idea that you've got to get a PhD and move out of the state, and those are the only jobs that are available in STEM, but that's certainly not true. And it's also true that a lot of times you can get a STEM job with a wide variety of different types of degrees. So just choosing one thing is not necessarily going to box you in to one particular career path, that there is some flexibility there. So that's just my perspective.
Yeah, so from my side, I think the misconception is you have to always have a 4-year degree to get into these programs, right? The manufacturing jobs and technological, like computer science jobs. So that's not always true. Just like I shared the advanced manufacturing technician program, you can do that with a 2-year associate degree and then go on to get your 4-year degree later. But that's another example.
Awesome, thank you. And another question we have, and anyone is welcome to take a stab at this one, is, you know, like right now in West Virginia, computer science is like really hot. People love to talk about it. But like, you know, I grew up in a rural state. I was very fortunate to have a computer in my house. Honestly, I knew a lot of people who didn't have computers in their houses. But how do we get kids interested in coding, computer science, those types of topics? I mean, I think especially given, you know, some of the technology access issues. I also ask because something I think about a lot.
I think probably, I don't know the West Virginia schooling where maybe you have a computer lab or you know, the basic, you know, keyboard typing, you can start with that. And then some of the newer technology where, you know, you can have iPads and that kind of stuff introduced to the basics of how things work, you know, typing a document or even an Excel. But you need to have the fundamentals of the computers. Make it a little bit more interesting, I guess. First, you need to have the resources to have the computers to begin with. Once you have that, I think introduce basic stuff where it is interesting to the students, right? Programming is at a much higher level. It involves logic and aptitude and everything else. You don't want to go there and confuse the students, I believe. So maybe start very small.
I wanted to add also that, I mean, the Code West Virginia program that I mentioned specifically has a goal to get a computer science class in every middle school and high school in West Virginia eventually, but that might take a while. But there are other things that students can be involved in that use computers, like some places you have robotics programs or competitions that are available. So I think even there's a lot of, if you can get involved in any kind of STEM activity, you're probably going to have to use a computer for it eventually. So that's a way to work on that.
Awesome, thank you. And then I guess for my two college admission reps, I guess I don't know if you have a sense of sort of what are the most popular majors, going on at your institutions. I guess it's just like I assume that they're referencing STEM, programs.
So I think for us, we definitely see engineering is one of our most popular programs for students coming in out of high school. But I think there is a lot, it goes back, I mentioned it, a lot of times students don't realize just how broad STEM programs can be. So we do see a lot of students who maybe they didn't declare the specific program as an incoming freshman, but when they get to WVU and they see just what all they can do, then we see them going into some of the more niche, maybe not as popular out of high school programs, the immunology and medical microbiologies, some of the smaller in size programs because they're just not as well known. But out of high school, I would say engineering probably is our most popular STEM program.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Engineering is a big one for us, specifically electrical engineering. And then for a mechatronics program, that one's pretty popular, our advanced manufacturing. And several of our medical lab technology is a very popular one as well, and sonography. I would say that those right out of high school are the biggest programs.
Awesome, thank you. And I'll toss one more question to all of you, and you can just take a stab at it. If you had to do it over again, and you're a senior in high school applying for college, what would you do? What would you do differently?
I'll hop in on this first. Just because I went straight to a 4-year, and I really wasn't aware of community and technical colleges, and I wish that I had been aware of what they offered, just as someone who has a lot of student debt. And yeah, I mean, most of us could relate to that. And also with the smaller classroom size, like I went to state, and state has fairly small classroom sizes once you're in programs, but specifically just to have saved some money on those like core classes, I really wish I'd taken advantage of that.
Awesome, I have similar feelings. Yeah.
I'll go ahead. I think one of the things that happened to me, and I don't know if it qualifies as the would have done differently, but I got to college and I changed my major, and I think that is a really, really common thing. So what you might want to look at is not like one specific major and career goal, but like when you're choosing whether to go to community college or a regular university or college, is whether you're in a place that has a field of degrees, you know, kind of an area that has things that interest you. Because I don't know what the probability is, but I think it's pretty normal for people to change their majors 2 or 3 times. And you want to make sure that you don't lose your credits when you do that, so that it doesn't take you longer to complete your degree. So that would be my advice.
Awesome, thank you.
And I would just say, again, I don't know if it's would have done differently necessarily. I was a first generation college student, so I definitely fell into that. I don't know, or I should say I didn't know what I didn't know. And so I became a little afraid to ask questions. And I think just if I could do it differently, I would ask more questions, and probably would have been a little bit better off in like the student support and resources area had I asked more questions and seek that out more.
I totally feel you. And having worked with high school students, I've told them similar things, and I haven't figured out how to get them to ask more questions. I'm like, people there to help you, to show up and ask a question. Like, what are we doing here? But I totally get it, because it took me a while too to figure that out and to be like, oh, I can just show up and ask a question and someone will help me. So I wish I had better answer. I wish I had an answer for anyone in terms of getting, high schoolers to answer, to like actually ask questions. People are very willing to help out there. So that is all the time we have today. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I want to thank our presenters. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day.